Yo, what up, guys? It's your boy Pumpkin Picks back with another video. And let's get right to this. PSG, Inter Milan, this is the Champions League final for 2025. Are these the best two teams in the Champions League? Maybe. I mean, honestly, PSG started off, I don't even think they qualified into the first 8. They actually were like within the last couple teams to have qualified. And they started building throughout the season, but that's kind of what the Champions League is. It's a team that peaks at the right time. This team was peaking at the right time. Inter, you could argue that they weren't peaking at the right time, but as I said before, they just have a good style matchup for a team like Barcelona. But against Arsenal specifically, in the beginning, I was like, okay, this game's actually interesting because Arsenal were dominating possession-wise, and they were creating a lot of chances. Donnarumma, he came up. You know, he played his part. He paid his dues. And that one crazy Odegaard save was insane. And then Saka missed a clear chance. Odegaard also, or Donnarumma, he did a crazy save similar to the save that Summer did yesterday. But the first half, it seemed like Arsenal believed in themselves. And then once that second half hit, or at least once that first goal hit, really, Arsenal just lost all their hope. And the question is, another season without Arsenal winning any title. So, and I don't care what they say, the FA Cup just isn't good enough. Like, Unai Emery, which everyone viewed his stint at Arsenal as a failure, he won a couple FA Cups. This team's way better than what they were back then, but Arteta just can't win anything. So the question is, should Arteta be sacked from Arsenal at this point? I personally look at the field, I don't know, to be honest, because Arteta is so, like, he just can't get some simple stuff right. But overall, his project with this team, and I think how he was a legend really in this club, they kind of tolerated a lot of the stuff, and it seemed like he was building the right project. But another season with no Champions League, another season with no Premier League, another season with no trophy. Like, if I was the Arsenal board, I'll give him one last season and say, look, man, we can't just keep going without winning a trophy. Like, next season has to be it. And if not, it's time to say goodbye, Arteta. But as far as Luis Enrique goes, dude, this just looks horribly on Mbappe. Mbappe, I hope that he looks at this and everything that's happening in the world of football right now, and he just tells himself, you know, I have to put my part. You can't just not run. And on top of that, the worst part about that is that now, like, not only is he not running, you have players in the Madrid team that are starting to run less. Jude Bellingham, you know, back then he was a player that would work. He would definitely run, and I would say he would fill the spaces. And then you saw in that Barcelona game, he didn't do shit. And now Vinicius, there's no point in talking about him. Rodrigo's been in a horrible run of form. And Mbappe, individually, he's been good. At least when it comes to his statistics with goals and assists. But this just looks horribly on him. Luis Enrique built a solid squad. And Kuvai, whatever his name is, Kuvashvili, the Georgian dude, he was a great signing. Dembele, I've said before that he has to be one of the dumbest players in the world right now. If he wins the Champions League, that would look bad. It would not look as bad as Rafinha winning the Champions League. Winning the Ballon d'Oro. But if Dembele wins the Ballon d'Oro, then yeah, I can understand it. I mean, I still think no matter what happens, I would still give it to Lamine Yamal. Like, that is the best player in the world right now. And there's not, as far as like how good a person is individually, there's no comparison. Lamine Yamal by a mile ahead. But as far as who deserves it because they won a trophy, which I don't think that necessarily always should relate to a Ballon d'Oro. Like, yeah, I guess you could say it's between maybe Salah, Dembele, and Lamine Yamal, I would still say, because they're probably going to win the La Liga. So, anyways, Inter versus PSG. Who do you guys have winning it? I don't know. I think this is actually a tricky matchup because how styles make, in fighting at least, styles makes fights. And, I said PSG, they have the great, Inter have the best type of style for Barcelona. Them and Liverpool, those were the only two teams that can really compete and, I would say, outsmart the Barcelona high line system. PSG, on the other hand, they have great midfielders. They have players in there that have an accent like Marquinhos and Dembele, who could, as good as he's been this season, he can make some stupid decisions. So overall, and they have two great goalkeepers. I think overall you could say, as good as Summer has done in these past two games, you could say that Donnarumma has had the arguably better Champions League season, but both goalkeepers have been saving their team when they needed to be saved. The strikers have been doing well. I just think that offensively, or I should say defensively, Inter Milan is just stronger. And yeah, that's really what it comes down to. Defense wins trophies. And Inter Milan, I'm going to stay with my pick. Inter Milan winning the Champions League. They're not going to give two teams that have not won the Champions League, they're not going to give them the UCL in the span of 3 years. That's not how it works. But anyways, if you guys like these videos, follow me on TikTok, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Pumpkin Picks. I put my TikTok name in the bio or whatever it's called, the notes. But Pumpkin Picks, yeah!